Alright, we're rolling. As you guys can probably see from the title of this video, I'm gonna be showing you, or I'm gonna be breaking down my song Heaven because I want to. But yeah, basically the song starts off like this. So I just had like a bunch of like reverse sounds. It's not really reverse, but I had like a filter automation, so it's like fades in a little bit. So first things first, I got this, which is kind of like a reverse vocal thingy from SMVACK. I forgot from which pack this is from. Then I got this lo-fi thing to add a bit of warmth to the mix. Then I have this thing, which is kind of like my signature ambient drum something, and the other two are basically from like a sample pack. So like it's like fades in to the break. But yeah, anyway, so moving on to the break. Basically, I started off this whole song by making the chords on the piano. So for the piano, I'm using Labs, I believe. This is like a really old project. Yeah, I use Labs, and for the processing of it, I had a fruity balance for some reason. I forgot why. A little bit of EQ to get rid of some of the unnecessary low end. OTT, which kinda makes the whole sound just sounds a bit brighter in the mix. So this is without the OTT, and this is with. Obviously sounds a lot better with OTT on it. Then I added the low pass filter from FL for automation. Fuck, I can't speak, man. For automation purposes. Then I get some imagers to make it just a tiny bit wider in the mix. Then I compress it a little bit, just a bit more. And last but not least, some reverb. So that's for that's the piano. Then I layer it with some pad, which I believe I use silent for this. Like I didn't actually make the sound. It's a preset that I found from another FLP on YouTube, which is why it doesn't have the preset name on it. But I didn't make the sound myself. But anyway, for the processing, a little bit similar to the piano. Just add some EQ just to clean it up a little bit. Then reverb. I mentioned expander, which doesn't even on. Sound godizer because of the meme, and I mean it sounds, it just makes it sound a little bit better, basically in the mix. Then sausage fattener, another meme in the producer community. Then I added a bunch of EQs just to make the whole things like sit better in the mix. Then I also added the imager to make it a little bit wider. So yeah, I mean these two are basically like the it's kind of like the I don't know what to call it, like the foundation of this whole song. And from this point, I just added like some more stuff to it. So with all the ambient as well, you get this. Sounds really nice and full, which I like. And as the song progresses, I also added like some more stuff. I added some guitars and bass guitars. First things first, I have this. This is from like a pack, which I forgot where I got this one from. Um, this one, this one. I think I recorded it myself, or I mean, I can't play guitar, but I think like my cousin record this one for me. Shout out to Exalif, by the way. But yeah, anyway, for the processing of these two guitars, so I think I add them, sorry, I mean like I think I route them to, oh yeah, to each of their own channels. So for the like the bass one, basically what I did is edit some EQ just to clean up the high end and the low end a little bit, added some saturation, and a little bit of compression with for the limiter, OTT, just to make it sound a bit, more brighter, I would say. So this is without OTT, and with OTT obviously it sounds more compressed, and it just sounds better overall. Then Camel Crusher, wait, is it not one? Yeah, Camel Crusher, it's a little bit of distortion, another EQ with the Pro Q2. I don't really remember why I EQ it this way, because like as I said, this is like a really old project of mine. Well, I mean, it's released back in 2021, but I haven't really opened up the project ever since. Then I get the reverb for reverb, obviously, and for this one, just some EQ and some reverb. I didn't really do much with this one, just cleaning up the low end a little bit, and the reverb as well, obviously. And what else? Oh yeah, yeah. In this part, I also like start adding some drums. So first things first, the kicks. Then I added like some kind of rim shots and hi-hats. Wait, no, not this one. Yeah, rim shots and some hi-hat loops. And what's interesting in this part is the fact that this rim shot, this is actually like a loop, but I just took like a certain part of it because I only like this part, this like a rim shot type of stuff. So I did quite a lot of processing on this one. So with no effects, this is what it sounds like. Really dry and ugly. I hate it. So yeah, so I did like a bunch of processing to it. So first things first, I added this EQ just to filter out the high end, some of the mid high as well, and obviously the low end. Still sounds dry and ugly. Then I added some delay and the reverb, OTT, which just like I don't really know how to explain it, but it's just make it sound better basically. Then some more cleaning up with an EQ. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the drums. I didn't really do any processing on the other stuff. I'm pretty sure I just I only like adjust the volume a little bit. Didn't really do much. So actually I added some reverb on this loop, but yeah, again, it's nothing major. It doesn't really change the sound, so I'm not gonna talk too much about that. Oh yeah, and I can't forget the sub bass. So for the sub bass, I use Trex OSC, which is the FL native plugins. I use this plugin a lot for subs. As for the processing, just some compression, more compression, any EQ. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the break. It doesn't, yeah, it's not too complicated. Well, I mean, it looks complicated, but I didn't really like do any crazy stuff on the break. So with everything, this is what you get. Wait, let me just. Oh yeah, so with everything, this is what the whole break sounds like. So now we're gonna move on to the build up. So for the build up, I didn't really change too much of it. I don't know. Basically, I just get rid of the pads and replace it with this one, this thing, which is just a serum preset. Wait, yeah, it's serum. Again, this is a preset that I kind of rip off from other FLPs that I found on YouTube. But you can't really copyright a preset, can't you? So yeah, I just took it basically. Anyway, for the processing, not much going on. Just some reverb. Sorry, I mean just some fruity balance for automation purposes. Some EQ, just to clean it up a little bit. Reverb. So as you can see, nothing's really crazy for this one. Oh yeah, and obviously because it's the build up, then I start adding some drums, some build up drums. Yeah, I mean they're all basically just samples, like not much to explain here. I just drag and drop it to the project, adjust the volume a little bit, and obviously you can forget the effects as well, like some impacts, some down sweeps, some more down sweeps and crashes, reverse crashes, risers as well. And I also start adding like the main lead from the drop, but I just I added a little bit of filter and volume automation just so it doesn't, it's not as powerful as the drop. And with the drums and with everything. Oh, my CPU is dying. Fuck. Anyway. So that's pretty much it for the build up. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the build up. Now we finally get into the most exciting part of the song, which is the drop. Just in case you haven't actually heard the track, this is what the drop sounds like. So where should I start? Oh yeah, the leads. So for the leads, this is what it sounds like. I believe this is like 4 layers of presets. Yeah, it's 4 layers. This is what the first layer sound like. Sorry, I mean sounds like. Again, my English is not the best. But anyway, This is Nexus, I believe. Yes, this is from it's from Nexus. Then the second layer, I'm guessing this is silent. Yeah, this is silent. Then the third layer, I think this is silent as well. Yeah, it is. Then the fourth one, silent. No, this is Serum. Again, just another preset that I borrow from other FLPs. Yeah, anyway, so for the processing of the leads, basically I just I put each preset, or like each sound or layers to their own mixer channels. So as you can see here, you have lead 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then I routed all of these 4 channels into a bus, or like into this one channel where I like process them all at once. So with no processing whatsoever, this is what it sounds like. Really dry and dull and ugly. So yeah, basically, so I'm gonna show you the effects one by one. So first things first, I get this limiter just to compress it a little bit, then some EQ, cutting off the unnecessary low end and some of the mid lows as well, reducing these areas as well. Then the delay, reverb, dimension expander, which again it's not even on. I don't really know why I did that. Ozone imager to make it wider, and gross beat for like a little bit of like a pumping effect. This isn't exactly how I sidechain it. I'm gonna get to the sidechain part later, but this is just to um, add like a bit of movement to the sound. Because I don't know if for this type of genre, like I don't think people usually do this, but I like to add like a like a 4/4 type of sidechain, like the type of sidechain you get with like Kickstart, which if you're making this type of song, which the drum pattern isn't really like 4/4, you can't really do that because the kick isn't always like in this. I don't really know how to explain it, but yeah, I mean just to add some pumping effect basically. And then sausage fattener because I like my leads fat. Anyway, then OTT just to add a little bit more of compression, EQ, and then as you can see, I ran out of slots, so I routed this channel into the next one where I have some plugins that I use to automate stuff. So for the balance, for the gain, for the fast LP, for the cutoff automation, and I also added like a reverb just so like in the build up section it sounds more wet basically, and as you move towards the drop it's getting like less reverby basically. I don't know if that's even a word, but yeah, anyway, so that's pretty much it for the leads. Now I'm gonna show you like the chords. This is what the chord sounds like. Now the funny thing is I actually put like all of the chord stacks as well as the mid bass and the sub bass on one channel rack or on one pattern, which I don't normally do this, but I guess when I was making this song I wasn't normal. Yeah, anyway, for the chord stacks, I'm gonna show you one by one. This is the first one, second one, third one, fourth, fifth. All together they sound like this. And the way I process these chords are actually it's the same way that I did with the leads. I just like how do I say it? Like I basically I put each preset on their own separate uh, individual channels. Then I routed all of these individual channels into a bus, where again I have all of the processing here. But what's the difference with the leads is the fact that each layer actually pan them differently. So like for example, as you can see here, um, uh, number one and number two are panned a little bit to the left. uh, Sound number three, or like chord number three, I didn't really pan them. Instead I put them like in I make it a little bit just a little bit more mono. And on the chord 4 and 5 I pan them to the right, just to add just to basically just to make it a bit wider, except sorry, I mean just to make it a little bit wider without having to like using like a stereo image plugin, which I also did use. But well, I mean I'm combining both techniques basically. Anyway, for the processing, again, some EQ. uh, I cut off all of the low end, as well as leaving some space in the high end for the leads. Limiter, just to add a little bit of compression. OTT for OTT. Then Camel Crusher, just to add a little bit of distortion. Saturn, to saturate it a little bit. Reverb, obviously. Some imager, just to make it just a little bit more wider, especially in the high end area right here. So yeah, way more wider. And then dimension expander, which in this one actually it's actually turned on. Not by a whole lot, because with dimension expander, if you put it too much, it is starting to sound weird for some reason. So yeah, I as you can see, I only added like just a tiny bit of it, probably like around 10%. Then some EQ. For this one, I'm using the Pro Q2. Basically, what I did here is in some parts I actually split like the bands. So I don't really know how to explain it, but basically I'm making like this like the mid signal a little bit lower basically, and I'm boosting the sides a little bit, just to make it a little bit more wider basically. So like mid set EQing is something that maybe for beginners it's a little bit difficult to understand, but yeah, I mean if you want to know more about mid side EQing, you can just look it up on YouTube or something. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, again, kickstart. Same as the gross bit on the leads, just to add a little bit of a pumping effect. It's not really the main side chain or anything. Then on the next channel, which again just like the leads, I also ran out of slots for the effects, so I routed this. I routed to the next one, where I have some more EQing, just to get the tonal balance right. Uh, then also another filter for automation purposes. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much it for the chords. And for the mid bass, this is what it sounds like. Wait, are we even still recording? Check. Yeah, we're still recording. We're good. Oh shit. Anyway, so for the mid bass, I only use 2 layers. This is the first one. This is the second one. Obviously, as you can hear, the main layer, or like the layer number one, is like the main one. Like it's the layer that you can hear the most in the mix. but without the second layer it just sounds different. Like it has like more, I don't know, like it just sounds better basically when you have the second layer. And again, a similar technique on the mid basses. I put them in like a separate channels. Then I routed these two separate channels into a bus where I have the EQ. As you can see here, I'm lowering some of the high end and the mid high a little bit, just a little bit. I cut off the low end because I'm having like a sub underneath it. For the limiter for a little bit of compression. I'm not even sure if this is actually compressing, but yeah, anyway, sausage fattener because it's sausage fattener. EQing. Basically, I don't want the mid bass to be like too present within the mix, so I EQ it like this. Yeah, again, this is something that I normally won't do, but yeah, again, this is an old project. Like I don't really know what I'm doing back then, but I mean the song is doing well, so you know, there you have it. Um, anyway, where were we? Oh yeah, the EQ, the crazy looking EQ. Basically, I get rid of a lot of the mids and the highs. Um, Again, I don't usually do that. Then I added some OTT, uh, more sausage fattener actually. Uh, yeah, I mean, what the fuck was I doing? I can't even speak. Fuck. Anyway, again, more EQ, imager, which I don't really know why I added this. You normally you don't want like a you don't want a wide base basically, as you can see here. At least I didn't like widen it too much. Instead I'm just making like the very low end mono. So there's that. Kickstart again for the pumping effect, and fully balance for automation purposes. Then we finally shit. And anyway, for the sub bass on the drop, so I'm using like a different sub bass from the break. So I use two patches basically, even though this is also, oh no, wait, never mind, this is not direct, so I see this is silent. So for the drop sub bass, I did some little bit more processing, a little bit more stuff than the break sub. So first things first, some EQ, OTT, Saturn, some compression with further limiter, kickstart again for the pumping effect, and fully balance for automation purposes, I believe. But yeah, anyway, I'm not sure if I mentioned the sidechain yet, but basically I added all of this drop synth into this channel right here, where I'm sidechaining all of them at the same time. Uh, yeah, so this is how I sidechain basically. For like feature based and melodic dubstep, I usually just add like a gain plugin. In FL it's called Free Balance. In other DAW it might it, like in other DAW it's called differently, I believe. Like for example in Ableton it's called utility or something. But yeah, anyway, basically for this type of genre I usually just draw the automation myself, like manually. So like this thing right here is like the volume automation, which acts as the sidechain. So yeah, that's basically how I sidechain. um, what else? Wait, let me just turn on these things real quick. So so that's pretty much it for like the all of these synths and the drop. So everything sounds wait, what can I speak, man? uh, so yeah, with all of the synths together, they all sound like this. So this kind of like the main sounds of the drop. I don't really know how to, yeah. um, I also added some more drones just to enhance the atmosphere a little bit. This is actually the same one from the break, but I just copy it and I process them a little bit differently. I it's a bit similar, but like the EQing and stuff is a little bit different. And for the drums, this is what the drums sound like. Just yeah, this is the drums. So obviously we have the kick, snare. I use 3 layers, actually 3 layers of snares. And some hi-hats. Oh well, no, it never mind. Alright. And on the second half of the drop, I added some more loops, more cymbals and hats and those kind of stuff. And also like the right pattern is also different on the second half of the drop. So that's pretty much it for the drums. Other than that, I just added like 2 more like effects. So this is what it all sounds together. This is what they all sound like all together. Oh yeah, I also added some effects right here, some more effects, but like again, they're just samples, so not really much to explain. Um, so yeah, um, so yeah, that's the first drop. Then the other part, they're pretty much similar, except on the second break I added some new guitars. This is what it sounds like. So this guitar, which you don't really hear in the first break or the first verse, whatever you want to call it. Uh, anyway, yeah, this guitar is just from Nexus. And as for the processing, first things first, some EQ, obviously. Then more EQ, just cutting off some resonance. Camel Crusher for a little bit of distortion. OTT to add a little bit of compression. For the a filter for automation purposes. Wait, no, never mind. To get rid of some of the high end, basically. Like I didn't actually automate this. Build some reverb. imager to make it just a tiny bit more wider. Then last but not least, another EQ where I'm boosting the sides again with like the whole mid-side EQ things. Basically, by doing this, I kind of make the guitar like just a tiny bit more wider because yeah, I didn't have enough wideness on the guitar basically. Yeah. Anyway, we're moving on. What else is there to explain? Oh yeah, some the drums are a little bit different as well. Wait, why is it? Oh, my bad. So in this part, I added like a new hi-hat, which again I, I I didn't have this on the first break. And then what else? Oh yeah, the new snare as well. Sounds really trappy, which is really nice. And the second build-up is pretty much the same as the first one, except it's just a tiny bit longer. Yeah, I'm having some difficulties with my CPU here, but yeah, I mean it's quite a big project, and I'm also like recording it at the same time, so my PC is kind of struggling here, but anyway. So yeah, as you can hear, the build-up is pretty much the same. The second drop is also pretty much the same, except I added a little bit of variation. Wait, I can show you. So here, okay, right here. So I added a little bit of variation on this part. I added like a filter LFO thingy, basic. I don't really know what to call it, but yeah. Basically, I have this automation which doing like the wah, 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 wah. You know, like basically it's doing this. Just a filter automation, and on the leads, uh, pretty much the same, except it's a different pattern basically. I don't really know how to explain it, but yeah, they're basically just automation, like filter and gain automation basically. And the rest of the drop is pretty much the same. And oh yeah, and also I have this part, the bridge, which isn't really common for this type of genre. I feel usually for most like feature based melodic dubstep songs, you just have like the intro, um, first break, build up, drop, second break, second build up, second drop, and then you have the outro. So yeah, basic. But for this song, I added like a bridge to it because I actually have a third drop, which I'm gonna be talking about it in a minute. But yeah, anyway, so for the bridge, so basically the same sounds as in the breaks, except the chords are a little bit longer. And the reason why I'm making this type of arrangement is because I'm basically just following the vocal, basically like the vocal or like the top line is, well, it's just as it is. So like I don't know, like I can't really, like use the typical future bass arrangement without having like the bridge basically. So yeah, I don't know what I'm saying. But yeah, anyway, and then after the bridge, there's another build up. Again, my CPU is dying. Wait, let me just. Man, this is so annoying, man. I'm just gonna skip to the third drop. So for the third drop, as you can hear, it's completely different. It has like a different melody, different drum pattern, but it's still like the same sounds, but I just added like a new melody. So yeah, I mean, unlike the first and second drop, the melody sounds like this. But on the third drop, it sounds like this. Still the same exact sounds, but different melody. And again, same with the drums, same sounds, but different patterns basically. And what else? Oh yeah, and on the third drop, actually, I added this thing. Like, where is it? Where is it? I added this. Oh yeah, this thing, which is this is the serum pluck chords thing from the build up, but I programmed the automation like this, so the filter cutoff like opens up like this, like like it's just a I don't really know what to call it, but yeah, it's just something that is just to make the third drop a little bit different, just to make it more interesting. So definitely it's like an ear candy type of stuff, but yeah, and um, we're finally talking about the outro, which sounds like this. So yeah, I mean, the outro is pretty straightforward. It's just the piano with the drones, and on the very last part, I make like a new pattern. Or yeah, I made this melody on like the very last part. Again, same sounds, just different melody. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much how I made Heaven. And you might notice that I haven't really talked about the vocals, and that is because I'm actually doing like the vocal processing on like a separate project. And yeah, I mean, I can show you right now. I'm just gonna open up the other project real quick. And now we wait. Oh, and by the way, if you're wondering like how I came up with the idea for this song, like Heaven is it's initially a remix for other songs, but yeah, it was yeah, I was participating in like a remix contest, but I I couldn't finish it in time, so I was like, let's just turn it into an original instead. And lucky enough for me, at the same time, or like at the time, I also found like a perfect top line for it. So you know I just fuck this competition, like fuck this remix competition, like this, I'm just gonna turn it into an original, which turned out really well. Like after the song is done, I sent it to Stardust, and they like it. I had to do like some, like a certain revisions, but like in the end, like they like the track. They released it, and now the song has around 70,000 ish plays on Spotify, which by far my most popular song ever released. So yeah, shout out to Stardust as well. Uh, so yeah, anyway, this is the project file where I process the vocals. As you can see here, I also did a little bit of stem mixing, not by a whole lot actually, because I did most of the processing and mixing as I produced the song on the on the previous project file. So in this one, I mainly just work on the vocal, as well as adding or like as well as processing some of the sounds a little bit more, just by a tiny bit. Nothing's really major or anything. But yeah, anyway, this is what the vocals sounds like. Wait, let me just turn all of these vocals on real quick, and yeah. Wait, where is it now? Oh wait, never mind. Wait. Okay, so this is what the vocals sound like. I've been praying for the answers I thought I might never find. Just gonna boost I've given so many chances, been let down too many times. So for the vocal processing, so basically when I bought this top line, I get like a bunch of stems here. As you can see, there's like the lead vocal, which is like the main basically, and then you have some doubles, some harmonies and ad libs. So yeah, I mean it's really good vocals, and like, to be honest, I didn't really have to do much with it because it's already like processed. Like it's not like super like completely raw or anything. Like now it's pretty much already like half processed, but you know to fit it, to make it fit within like the whole song, you need to add some more processing basically. Not by a whole lot, but I mean you still have to do something. Anyway, so for the lead vocals, first thing that I did was to add a little bit of compression. Well, I mean not a little bit. Like, this is like a shit ton of compression. I've been praying for the which you shouldn't really do that, because if it has something to do with like, if your vocal is like too dynamic, then it's better for you to just use automation first, then you can compress it with the compressor. But again, this is an old project. I was an idiot back then, so yeah, my bad. Anyway, I've been praying for the so after the compression, I added some EQ, obviously. I've been praying for again, for vocals, you shouldn't really like put an EQ like this, where it's like just straight up cutting it. When EQing vocals, you need to be like really subtle with it. Like, it's gonna sound a lot better if I just did wait, never mind, never mind. I can just show you. I'm just gonna show you later, maybe. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, Saturn vocal doubler. I've been praying for the answers. Just to add a little bit of whiteness to it, because you know, like the original recording was 2 mono, which is nice, but you know, within the whole song, like you don't really want your vocals to be 2 mono. Like like it has to be mono, but you don't want it to be 2 mono. And in this case, it's 2 mono. So I just add a little bit of whiteness with vocal doubler, which is a free plugin, by the way. Then some more EQ. I've been praying for the answer. De-esser. I've been praying for the answer. If you don't know what a de-esser what a de-esser is, it's basically a tool that you can use um, to reduce some of the harsh S sounds. I've been praying for the answers. So like the answers, like right there, like this, like without the answer, it's gone. It sounds really harsh. But with the de-esser, it's, you know, it's being reduced a little bit, basically. So it's not gonna kill your ears. Then some more EQ. I've been praying for. And peak controller. I forgot what it's for. No, actually this is for sidechaining the reverb. Again, sidechaining reverb is something that I can't really explain because I'm just suck at talking. But you know, you can just look it up on YouTube. You know, it's a really useful techniques that you can use to clean up your vocals if you're, you know, if you're adding reverb to it. But anyway, so that's pretty much the processing for the leads, or for the main vocals. And for the doubles, I just add for the balance, for probably just some automation. Maybe I was cleaning up the vocal a little bit back then. Then the same compressor, EQ, another de-esser, another EQ. It's not even on. For fuck's sake. Yeah. Anyway. So what else? For the harmonies, I didn't really do anything. As you can see here, I did a little bit of processing on the ad-libs, which is just the same chain, basically. RBox for compressing, EQ, vocal doubler to make it a little bit wider, more EQ, and another EQ, and that's pretty much it. I believe. So like I said, like, you know, when I get the top line or the vocals, like it's not completely dry, like the vocalist already like did some processing to it, so I didn't really have to do much, but I certainly have to do something. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it for the vocal processing. So yeah, I think that's pretty much everything. So I already show you like the break, the drop, the vocals as well, and yeah, that's pretty much how I made Heaven. You know, this isn't like the this isn't like the highest quality of like breakdown video or anything. This is my first time doing this type of stuff, so you know, it's shocking. It's shocking. It's a shit video probably, but well, I'm just hoping that you guys can learn something from it. I mean, I doubt it, but you know, who knows? Like, stranger things have happened. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much how I made Heaven. So yeah, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, share it with your friends who also makes feature bass, and I don't know, if you have other producer friends who make other genres, you know, feel free to show them this video as well. Unless your friend is making funk, then don't stop being friend with him. Fuck funk. Just kidding. But yeah, anyway, bye. Thanks for watching. Peace out.